Hello and welcome back. It's been a while since I've done a stream. Been busy with a couple of different things between trying to refactor some stream settings and dealing with a new thing with little doggy and her leg kind of not really being so good. I've been busy. I'm going to see if I can start streaming just a bit more again and sort of get back on track regarding scheduling and whatnot. But for now, I figured I'd do a stream today because I have some things I want to talk about. Not like heavy things or like super important things. In fact, just mentioning the vet visit alone was pretty much the only important thing I really had to talk about. But there were some interesting developments between when I last streamed and now, both in games and other stuff, so I'm excited. Got a lot I want to just yap about today, so I figured I'd do some relic cleaning, pretty much clean out my inventory of relics I don't need or relics I've been missing. So, yeah, with that, let's get to the grind. So, today, we need to use all these. It's not full, but got some things on this list that I'm already trying to look for. I've already started a Gyre Prime build, which I'm very happy about, just simply because Gyre's one of my favorite frames, basically turns the game off in some cases. But, I'm looking for Lavos, Caliban, Ureli, and some others too. Most of these are gonna be solo, but I wouldn't mind doing some shares. Oh yeah, I got super unlucky with Dual Zorin Prime, just trying to grind it, but, I finally managed to actually get my hands on it after so long, and honestly, I wasn't paying attention to the vaulting schedule and thought it was, like, gone. But no, it's still here, which is great. So, we already have some things we're going to be looking for. We have some things that, we could maybe, pivot to if we run out of relics. Sorry I keep clearing my throat, I'm a bit, a bit dehydrated, need a bit of water. Once again, I've been delaying the promised quality upgrades for the stream. Consider it a bit of, consider it a bit of creative block that I'm trying to get past. But for now, we're going to start with the relics that we've got. I guess before we start with the relics, we could just get some other stuff out of the way. Maybe get some I-10 treasures, maybe breathe a bit of Vahex air. Sure, why not? Alrighty, so what should I talk about first? The most recent thing that happened, or the things I'm actually excited for?
This is a mobile defense mission.
I guess we'll start with High Guard. So, one time recently, I was planning on streaming High Guard. I thought that, oh, you know, it's fine with a bit of updates, it could improve, and then maybe they just won't shut the game down. Surely that wouldn't happen, right? Insert clown music here, but yeah, it's shutting down March the 15th, I believe.
This will only get more difficult.
Which makes me a bit sad, but I mean, c'est la vie. These kind of things happen. People didn't really have an interest in it, so I suppose it was only inevitable. But it's just disappointing, because I've lost a lot of games these past few years. You know, I lost Knockout City, I lost Revelation. I only recently found out, actually, about Revelation, and also, what was it called? Skyforge, yes. Revelation, Skyforge, and then Multiverses as well, and then Robocraft. It's like I'm running out of niche games that nobody cares about. That's kind of mean. I'm not gonna say people didn't care about them. I cared about them, and a few others did. But it's just disappointing that there's just another one. But, again, this kind of thing was pretty much inevitable. I only wish that they would have maybe marketed it a bit better instead of putting it in a random spot in the Game Awards. But, oh well. So there's that. What else do I want to talk about? I guess I'll talk about Marathon next. So, I was planning on doing either a stream or a video for Marathon back when the Server Slam first started. Of course it's over, and the game's launching tomorrow. I will be playing it. Suffice it to say, I will be playing it. And I was hesitant. Understandably so. It's a paid game, and it's a genre I not only have zero interest in, but conceptually sounds like it goes against anything that I'm pretty much interested in as far as a first-person shooter goes. Because you have loot that you can get, but you can also lose it kind of easily. And it's like, why would I play that? You know, I don't want to lose my loot. I don't want to drop in and then suddenly just lose. That's why I don't like battle royales. But I played Marathon, and it was brutal. But the power moments where I actually did something cool outweighed the suffering. And I had a mindset that changed the longer I played it. I remember there was one instance closer to the end of it where I was playing Rook, and I downed 2 people from a squad. One person went down super fast, the other person like ran, but I managed to take them down, and it was like, it was a really good feeling. So it's like, yeah, okay, I can get into this. And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, it was very rough. You know, I went in there thinking about how people have been talking about Arc Raiders and talking about how, oh, you know, sometimes people just wanna exfil, they just wanna make it out with all their loot. So they'll use proxy chat, and sometimes you'll get cool little friendly moments. Other times people will just be absolutely ruthless. Literally nobody responded to me when I used proximity chat in the Marathon Server Slam. And at first I thought it was my fault, like maybe there was something wrong with the microphone, or maybe I was doing something wrong. Turns out it was 50% my fault, 50% the game. Because I was pressing, or I thought the button for broadcast proxy chat was a toggle and not a hold, but it was only a hold. And so I was basically speaking into the void when I was begging for my life. But, so after I figured that out, I started using it a bit more, and people were listening to me like they knew I was trying to speak to them. But they weren't heeding my words or listening to what I was saying. And I was trying to figure out exactly why that was the case. Come to find out, they didn't hear my voice. They were just seeing the proxy chat icon. And the only way I knew this was because the same thing was happening to them. Because they were saying things, but their voice wasn't coming through to me. And I saw their icon. And I was like, what's happening? Is this a bug? And apparently it was reported that in some cases, yeah, proximity chat was not being recorded or not being broadcast. And I was like, okay, well that sucks. Pardon me. So I figured, well, proximity chat's not going to be an option right now. What can I do?
Hunter,
Ooh,
you exceed
nice.
expectations.
So the next thing I figured is, okay, well, if peace isn't an option verbally, I'll just use the little voice line pings, you know, the friendly ping. That didn't work. Not a single person heeded my advice. Sorry, I need some water. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Made her take a sip of coffee too. Okay.
Now we finish this business
So
once and for
I figured,
all.
yeah, people aren't going through proxy chat. They're not gonna pay attention to anything that I say. So, peace is no longer an option. I'm just gonna fight. Wait, why am I manually changing everything? I could just use the loadout. So, okay. I decide to go the violent route. I decide to shoot on sight, and... oh god, it's Kuva Fortress. Yeah, I decide to shoot on sight and not really just not think about it. And it didn't go as well as I thought it would at first, which is fine, you know. It's kill or be killed in an extraction shooter. But then there was one moment where I was going to go to an exfil that was in progress. There was a destroyer there. And they fired at me first. I did the friendly ping. And they didn't heed it, so so I fired from a roof and downed them. And when I downed them, I was dropping in and I was firing the, what was it? V77, V11, whatever it is, punch pistol. I forgot how to do this, I'm sorry. So I was firing the pistol as I jumped out, but the moment I hit the finish, and it's a hold to finish, the moment I hit the finisher on them, I actually heard them in the proximity chat be like, wait, I'm friendly. And by the time I heard their voice, the animation already started. So that was an unfortunate bit of mercilessness on my part. Okay, I'm sorry. I really don't remember how to do Kuva Spy. Do I go... like, what do I do? Huh. So yeah, it was, most unfortunate for them. I think I go in here. Yep, I do. Oop. And then each match after that was less and less mercy from me. And that sounds edgy, and it sounds kinda just silly to say. But like, my mindset changed from I'm gonna be friendly, I'm gonna help people as much as I can, to leave nothing alive. And so each subsequent match or run that I got into was again less mercy. And I started just shooting on sight more, being more cognizant of my surroundings, and just going all in on it. And it started with the players, but then it extended to the bots too, because I hear them, especially in the cursed location that is Holler, just like clanking around and being like, okay, well I could be afraid of these bots and waste all of my ammo on them, or I could bring the knife out and just destroy literally everything. And so that's exactly what I started doing. Albeit it wasn't easy when the shielded ones started to show up, but I then realized even if I lose, bots will still give XP. So it's like, if I make it out with nothing, that's fine, as long as I don't bring anything. And as long as I use the sponsored kits. And let me tell you, not every sponsored kit is built equal. They're really good to use, but oh my god, the Midas sponsor kit sucks. Like, okay, I guess I should specify. The SMG is not bad. That's not the problem. The problem is that... I pressed the wrong ability. The problem is that you end up losing ammo so fast regardless of what you decide to shoot at. So it's like, I don't want to use that sponsored kit if I can help it. And the Cyber Acme kit was better, but my favorite was the Nuclear kit, because that gives you a gun that tracks. It was so good. And I think that was the sponsored kit that was active until the end of it. I could be wrong, and I most likely am. But, I don't know. The more I played and the less fearful I was, and the more careful I was, the more fun I was having. So, I will be playing it. Most likely I'll be playing it tomorrow on launch. As for whether or not I'll be streaming it is to be determined, because, like I was saying, earlier, Little Doggy has her vet visit tomorrow morning. So, depending on what happens there, it's just a check-in. It's not going to be anything intensive. But depending on what I'm going to have to be doing tomorrow, like if I'm going to have to be doing anything new or unique for her, or just monitoring her a bit closer, will determine if and when I stream Marathon tomorrow. But my mindset for it, like, just to put a summary on it, my mindset changed from extreme skepticism and borderline disdain because I'm not a fan of the genre to optimism. Not like blind glazing, you know, as everyone likes to say, but just enough optimism to make me not regret buying it. And it seems like Bungie's monetization on it is going to be a bit more fair this time around. And I think it's because it's a new thing, but more so because it's a paid game and not a free game, you know? They're kind of going back to their roots with how they were with D1, minus the DLCs. I'm very glad they're not doing expansions, but it does make me wonder kind of what model they're going to do moving forward regarding, like, microtransactions, if they're going to do those, you know? Because, like, those are fine when they're regulated, but we don't want it to be, like, a game-ruining thing, you know? Did I already hit this? I don't think I did. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Marathon. I'm excited, cautiously excited, because it was still stressful at times. But, we'll see, I suppose. Okay. So now we've got all of that. We can finally leave. I can finally leave. What else should we talk about? Oi, move. I guess since we're in Warframe, we can talk about Foley. I took a look at her kit.
Another job well executed.
She's been playing way too much Gmod. That's all I'll say. People say she's the admin frame with her second ability. The fact that you can spawn things in is so funny to me. I'm glad that they came in after on the dev short and said that they're going to be doing limitations on it. And also doing some stuff to,
Why are these fools
what's it?
still breathing my air?
Just to limit the potency of it. But she looks good. I'm excited for her kit. I know everyone loves the 2 though, but I think her 4 is my favorite, just because of the balloons. It's like the, I don't remember what it was called, those balloons from that one Metal Gear. It was so funny.
You are here to find your mark and eliminate the assigned target.
Also, the fact that they're using Vesper Relay now as a location we can revisit.
Make him too dangerous. You know what to do.
Wait, what? Am I on Bazard? No, I'm on Zenner. I'm on... Okay, whatever. Oh, it's energy reduction, that's why. That's why I'm not getting as much energy. Oh, wow.
These criminals think they are committing a justice. Not in my court.
Hold still.
Brothers, I've done my part. Now clean up this mess.
Oh wow, I really should have paid attention to the modifier. Ugh.
Counselor Vahek rose to power by
There was
eliminating
something
his
else
enemies
that I
on the
wanted to
Premier
talk about,
Council.
but I'm
He now
trying
has
to
near
blank right
complete
now.
control, which makes him one of the most influential Grineer.
Oh right, so let's talk about the Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition, because there's a lot to talk about for that one. So, I finished the PS1 version. I am not finished with the DOS version as of yet. Sorry, not the DOS version, the Jaguar version. I haven't played very much of the GBA release in the collection, and I haven't played the Game Boy Color version. So, I have some choice words about it. And yet, I decided to be a little more, like, lenient on what I have to say regarding it, just because the backlash has been just weird. So, for those who don't know,
Counselor Vahek rose to power by eliminating his
the
enemies
Rayman
on the
30th
Premier
Anniversary
Council.
Edition
He
recently
now has
released.
near complete
This
control,
is a
which
collection
makes him one
of
the most influential
most
Grineer.
original releases of Rayman 1. I say most because some versions are missing. So it has the MS-DOS version, the PlayStation 1 version, the Game Boy Advance version, and the Game Boy Color version. It also has an unfinished level from the cancelled Super Nintendo version. Now, the big problem that people had with this is that it does not have a lot of the original music.
We are done here, Tenno.
And it's not just because they remade a lot of the music, because that is what they did, but that's not why people are upset. Well, that's not the main reason. The main reason is because a lot of the tracks, the originals, are not present. Even in a remade format, they're not there. And some of the new tracks that replace them are just questionable at best. Now, I don't know why they don't have every track in there, and I'm not going to pretend like I know why that's the case. But what I will say, what I will say is this. I didn't hate all of the music. I hardly hate any of it. Like, a lot of it is just... It's just music. Like, it's just Rayman-esque music. And I'd say esque because the image of Rayman has definitely changed over the years. And this is the first time since launch, or since the launch of these original titles, that they're trying to follow that original aesthetic in any capacity. Unfortunately, that does not follow the music. Like, the music does not follow this. And the music is like an important part of the original nostalgia, you know? Some of these tracks people grew up with, myself included, you know? I mean, I didn't grow up with the Jaguar version or the Game Boy Color version or the MS-DOS version, but I did play through the PS1 version multiple times when I was younger. And then I played the Game Boy Advance version once. And, some of the music is just not okay. Now, what do I mean by not okay? I mean, hang on, I gotta pause for this because I actually can actually do this really quick. So, there are 4 specific instruments that are present in the majority of the new tracks. And those are ukulele, jaw harp, kazoo, and what was the 4th? Okay, maybe not 4. Maybe those 3 are the most common. Probably. And the reason is because they're trying to do it Origins style. Like, they're taking inspiration from Rayman Origins to influence the new tracks and some of the remade tracks. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can see how the perspective of it can, like, be one of erasure, if that makes sense. Like, as though the original game is being overwritten in favor of what it's become with Origins. Like, here's a perfect example. The boss fight for Mr. Stone. The original was like actual rock music, and it was a different variant of one of the Blue Mountains themes. But the new version of his boss fight...
This is too easy.
Oh, he just crumpled out of nowhere. The new version is mostly someone just humming in the background, being like... And then I think there's like ukulele or something, but Hang on. Because I gotta do this. Most of the tracks have either that kind of sound in it, or let me see if I can do this one right. Hold. Ah, that hurts to. Hang on. Let me try it again. That's Sproingy sound from the jaw harp. That's what it sounds like. What a lot of it sounds like. And that's from Origins. That's where the influence comes from. And it's not bad, but it's jarring. Because it's like, you grew up with the original, you expect these cool tracks being either remade or at the very least brought back in, but when you hear nothing but, then it's like, why? Now, I am being a little, I am exaggerating just a bit from the jaw harp angle, because that's like a supplementary thing. But hearing the kazoo and hearing the ukulele, and it's like, why? And the worst part about all of this, I think, like, in my opinion, the worst part about all of this is we do not have a clear reason as to why this is like this. They didn't tell us, like, anything regarding licensing or royalties. They didn't say, oh, well, we can't put this in here. We can't put this track in here because of legalities, or we cannot do a remake of this because we don't have this composer, or we don't have the right to do this because this composer said so, or this, that, and the other. We don't have an explanation as to why that is. We don't. And so it's like, okay, so we don't have the original tracks. We have new tracks. Some of them are good. Some of them are not good. Could you at least provide a reasoning as to why? They didn't. They did not. So, that's that component of it, being the music. I'm fighting the urge to do the Sproingy jaw harp again.
Your enemies
But,
have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
There's another personal thing for me, in that the versions they've chosen are a little weird. Like, first off, why are we using multiple releases of the same game? Like, I would understand if you would have the MS-DOS release and the PS1 release. But why are we putting in the GBA version? I can agree about the Game Boy Color version to an extent, like, for the sake of preservation. Though if we're going on that angle, I suppose we could argue for all of them. Okay, hold on. I need to turn the game audio down just a bit. So, I can understand why we would put in the MS-DOS version and the PS1 version, because those two are considered, by and large, or by the majority of people who played them, to be the biggest releases. But we did not need to include the GBA release, because that is an easier version of the PS1 port, or the PS1 version. We didn't need that to go in there. Also the, what's it called thing? I'm trying to remember the name. The prototype level for the SNES version. It's cool, but why is that a selling point? Why are we putting that, like, on the tin when there's nothing to do? Like, yeah, it's just a cool little space to explore, but why are we putting that in as a main feature? Why not put it in, like, as part of the museum part, you know? Just say, oh, when you're, like, in the beginning or the partway through, or even at the end of it, why not just say, oh, hey, check out this unreleased demo that was long lost, or this long lost unreleased demo level of the SNES release of Rayman. You know? Instead of having it be up front as one of the main games to play, when all you do is wander around the level. The punch doesn't even work. You can charge the punch, but you can't throw a punch. And even if you could, why would you? There's nothing to punch. You're picking up what I'm putting down? It's silly. It's just absolutely bizarre. But on the plus side, having all of these releases together does elucidate, like, what makes them different. You know? Like, a perfect example. The PS1 release is the de facto release as far as quality goes. Like, it's the best one as far as a quality standpoint is concerned. But as far as the sheer volume of content available, the MS-DOS version is the way to go, because it has the most levels. Not only does it have all of the levels from the original release, but it also has all of the extra DLC levels and the fan-made levels. Granted, the fan-made levels are kinda not great, because they're fan levels from the 90s, I think it was. I don't know if it was early or late 90s. But, I mean, I'm not gonna rag on them, like, too much about it, because level editors were not exactly all too common at that time. But, yeah, it's got the most content, you know? The GBA version is the easiest one, bar none. It's the easiest one, because the GBA version is literally the PS1 release, but it's got one more point of damage at base. So instead of the 3 hits you can take at base, you can have 4 hits, and then 6 when you get the power-up, that increases your health. Some of the hazards were removed and some of the platforming was simplified. So yeah, it's easier. Now as far as quality goes, visually, the GBA one is the worst. Which is very weird, because despite being a handheld, the Atari Jaguar version has almost as much quality, at least from a graphics standpoint, as the PS1 version. You know, I mean, it's pixel art. What can you do? You know? But yeah, GBA version is easily the easiest, but lowest quality, in my opinion. And I say lowest quality because I'm not including the Game Boy Color version in my comparisons. It is an entirely different game in my opinion. So, in stark contrast to the GBA version, the Atari Jaguar version is the hardest one. It's so difficult that I wouldn't blame anyone if they were to use the rewind. I did not use the rewind feature for my playthrough of the PS1 release, but I did, or I am currently doing it for the Jaguar release. And the reason is because they have just so many minute changes that just make it harder. And then so many larger changes that make it an overall different experience. Like, I know that sounds like it's contradictory, but let me just explain. So, one thing that it has that is not present in any other version, to my knowledge anyway, I could be wrong, is that when you get hit, Rayman's fist upgrades get removed in sequence. So if you take damage, you'll lose the golden fist, and then, if you get hit again, you will lose the speed upgrade for the fist. That alone makes it absolutely terrifying to wanna, you know, just traverse levels. Because, like, if you're under constant threat of losing what makes your ability to fight like that much easier, then that's very concerning, I think. Now, speaking on the fist upgrade, it actually is a lot better. Or the fist itself is a lot better in the Jaguar version, in my opinion. Because the fist itself flies faster. It travels to and from its location, or to and from its destination, significantly more quickly than in other games. And that allows you to effectively, like, square up and box with enemies, like, that are right in front of you. And the poachers, I don't know their actual name, but the poacher enemies, first off, there are a lot more of them. They're the guys in purple with, like, the mustaches that throw the little swinging hammer bullets at you. But there are so many more of them in the Jaguar release than there are in any other version. Sure, there's a lot of explosions happening. But in contrast to the other versions as well, they can actually be hit while they're still aiming at you or firing at you. So, like, their invulnerability window is gone. Which is cool. I think it's cool, at least. So that was made a little easier. What else is different? They did have a lot of smaller little, like, level differences. But overall, it's just a lot more difficult of a game. And I think their selections, like, I think if you want a challenge, go for the Jaguar version. But going back to their selections of, like, which games to add, I personally feel like there's a bit of redundancy here. Like, as I said earlier, the GBA version, it really does not need to be a thing. Like, there's nothing that makes it, in my opinion, that makes it unique enough to warrant being in this collection. And I have played through the original on GBA. Now, as for what I think should be on the list, it's gonna sound very weird, but just bear with me, right? Instead of having the SNES prototype of Rayman 1 as like a front-runner title, what they should have done, in my opinion, is put the prototype of Rayman 2 in there, because the prototype of Rayman 2, you unlock that if you 100% the entirety of the actual release of Rayman 2. And the prototype for Rayman 1, or for Rayman 2, is in the Rayman 1 style. Like, the gameplay is almost one-to-one regarding, like, being a side-scroller, having similar pixel art, you know, fighting enemies, all that. But with new stuff, you know? that should replace the SNES prototype as a front runner. It shouldn't remove it, because I think it still is a cool little thing to have. Just put it in, like, the museum, you know? Instead of being, like, on par with the actual games that you could play. The next thing I would do, and this is gonna sound very weird and kind of against the original idea, rather than having the Game Boy Advance version of Rayman 1, they should instead have the Game Boy Advance version of Rayman 3. And the reason I say this is because that one is close enough to Rayman 1 in gameplay style, and there is no storefront that Rayman 3's Game Boy Advance version is released on. It doesn't have to be the main focus, but it could just be like a little bonus, saying, hey, we're celebrating Rayman's 30th anniversary. We can celebrate the main game, but we can also celebrate some of the other games without them being like, you know, too on the nose or in your face, you know? We don't have to have Origins in there, we don't have to have Legends in there, but we can put those two things in there, you know, because they're not like the main thing. You know, we'll already have like the MS-DOS release, we'll already have the PS1 release. Those two versions already are going to be the main versions people care about, you know? I know people have asked for the Sega Saturn version of Rayman 1, but to be perfectly honest, there's very little that differentiates it from the MS-DOS release. So I'm not surprised that they didn't put it in there. But at the same time, it makes it all the more confusing of why they did put the GBA release. And I'm not saying like the GBA version is bad for the console it's on, because it's, you know, it's Game Boy Advance. It's fine, you know. It's another thing to play Rayman on. But is it worthy of being in the collection? I don't know about that. Especially considering the music quality of all the games in the collection, like just from an audio quality standpoint, are the worst on the Game Boy Advance version, you know? So, that's my ramblings on the Rayman stuff. I was gonna make a dedicated video for that, but I'd end up just saying the same things everyone else is saying. So, we'd probably kinda lose meaning, I suppose. But I play platformers, and I enjoy platformers, so especially for one that I've grown up with, this is kind of just a big deal to me. Just a big deal to me. Hopefully they'll, at some point soon, give us, like, reasoning why the music itself is different. I just hope that we get some, like, information on that, because, like, there are a lot of people who are saying they're not gonna buy this until the music is, brought back, which is kinda narrow-minded in my opinion. But, I don't know, I can't blame people, you know? Like, do what you want with your money. But I'm not gonna share an opinion just based off of music alone, you know? Unless the music is so horrendously bad that it does not make me want to play the game at all. Which is not the case. But that yodeling for the both Space Mama bosses are very concerning to hear. Like what is that? Like, are they trying to have it be bad on purpose, or... you know? It's impossible to tell anymore. Look at all these heat procs and explosions! Funny. I think should I do one more rotation? Probably not, huh? I'm struggling a bit here. Rayman 3 was actually one of the few titles that I never finished. And that's on both releases. Like the regular 3D version. The regular 3D release, and then the GBA version as well. I never got to finish those. I do still have Rayman 3 though, so I could at some point actually play that. I didn't play Rayman 3 around the time when it came out though.
60 seconds.
But I feel like if I had, then I probably would have finished it. I am a fiend for this genre. And yet, ironically enough, I've never played a Mega Man game. I wonder if that would be a good thing to explore at some point. Just want to get the last bits of reactant before I go. It's a trick I usually do. When you're doing an endless mission and then you're about to leave, if you don't plan to do another rotation like after, even if you don't select a relic, you could still just extract when you get 10 reactant and get void traces. And Melon doubled it, which is nice. Very nice.
You are out of options. Retreat to the sanctum.
God, it's been tough to prevent myself from playing more Terraria. I've been flooding my channel with Terraria videos.
Was greater. This is good.
Oh well. Steel Path is rough. I mean, this is obvious, but... Alrighty. Gonna have a sip of coffee, and then... Actually, no. I'll have a sip of water, and I'll have a sip of coffee. Give me just a moment. Ah. Tasty! I've been experimenting with filters for my microphone. And on a whim, it's kind of silly, and depending on how you look at it, it's kind of cringe. But I've been trying to set up some voice filters just for a bit of whimsy. So I have one where I can turn my noise gate off. You might hear my fan if it's not audible already. Actually, let me turn that off really quick. Hold on a moment. Oy, there we go. So, I can turn my noise gate off like this, so you can hear my low tones whenever I decide to use them. But I normally would keep the noise gate on. I have I have one that I set up for singing. If I ever have the stones to do karaoke, then why did I pronounce it like that? I mean, it's not wrong, but karaoke, whatever you want to call it. It's a combination reverb and removal of noise gate. So it sounds like this. It's got a lot of reverb on it. But yeah, if I ever develop the stones required to actually sing something on stream or for a video, this is what I would use. Let's turn that off. And for the parts that are kind of kind of cringe. I did on a whim because I happened to figure out how to do so with the VSTs. I set up filters for the man in the wall. Two specific versions. So there is the version for when the man in the wall takes on a character and therefore uses their voice. And then there's one for when he speaks in Void Tongue. And I'm a little afraid to give an example because I'm probably gonna cringe really hard. But I mentioned it, so I may as well give it a try. So, what's a line I could say? Nah, I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't. It's fine, I'll probably do this another time. Maybe if he visits me, then, like in the orbiter, then I'll do the thing. Anything up for non-steel path? I guess this'll suffice. So we were going for Caliban, right? We'll go for Ureli Neuroptics, actually. Why not? Dare I attempt to do that voice, though? I can actually use those filters, though, to do kind of like an overdub for certain quest moments, which just make them stupid.
Wait. You know.
Specifically, I want to do a dub of that one part in Whispers of the Walls where Wally himself says rap tap tap, but instead I want to make him say something else that's completely dumb and out of pocket. I'm not retiring. I did vanish, but I'm not retiring anytime soon. Yeah, no, I just had a lot of sudden obligations to deal with regarding little doggy. Her leg is not so good lately. Vet says she's dealing with a torn ligament and her knee is showing signs of arthritis. So we took her to the vet. She's on medicine now. She's doing a bit better, but she's been hopping around on that leg. She's not in pain, or at least she doesn't seem like she's in pain. But, you know, if we can help her not hop around, then that's pretty much what we're doing now. But that's why I was on break. I forgot to make an announcement post. My apologies. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Man in the Wall. I can sort of mimic his voice with these filters. But I just gotta find out what I want to do, and I think I want to dub part of the quest. Part of Whispers in the Walls with it. Hang on.
Technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity.
What's a good line I could say? Hang on, let me turn on the filter. So, this is the filter for when the Man of the Wall inhabits a character's form or takes on a character's form. I'm trying to do the echo effect properly, but it's a bit difficult. What does he say during the second dream? Hey kiddo, what took you so long? You mad at me, kiddo? Don't forget, you owe me. Things like that. He says things like that, you know. I would do the other one, where he's actually speaking Void Tongue, but to do that requires guttural noises that I cannot make without being too loud, so I will not be doing that at the present moment. But I can do it. I can manage. Oh, there was a voice line, a series of voice lines that I have been using as sort of practice to like refine the filter, but I'm gonna be very embarrassed to do it on stream because I don't know. As much as I want to get into voice acting, oh hi Miloka. Also hello, welcome to the stream. As much as I want to get into voice acting, doing those specific lines, it's the dialogue between when Wally like is swapping between Lloyd and Albrecht during the interrogation scene. I use those lines as like a frame of reference to practice for the filter, and it sounded kind of really good. But if I do it now, I'd probably die of cringe. But I am going to be uploading a clip of this whole discourse as like a standalone video clip, so maybe maybe I'll put that on there. But yeah, so I have that. I want to do more effects though. I'm currently working on a filter that sort of emulates Emperor Callus from Destiny 2. That one's in the works. It's not like done. But it's almost there. I just need to find a way to like, it's not on a filter level. It's on a me level because my voice is not exactly like consistently high or consistently low. It fluctuates depending on my levels of excitement. Like, if I'm happy or just talking like I am now, then it's kind of on the higher-ish end. But if I'm upset or if I focus, then it gets a bit low. Like, let me see if I can lower it a bit. So, whoa. If I lower it like this, I can do other voices. I can do stuff like that. Yeah, it is a better reward, but I don't know. I was just trying to do a chill talking this. I just have a lot of void traces to work with. Like, yeah, it's a greater reward with other people, but the other thing is coordination. I don't know. I'm not feeling like coordinating right now. Like, I'm not starved for getting the best results quickest is what I'm trying to say. Sorry if I'm not sorry if I'm not saying it like proper. Like, it is better to do it with people, it's true. I just am not feeling like doing that right now. But I'm not against it if anyone wants to join, you know. I'm just not, like, coordinating that whole thing right now, if I'm making sense. Should I demo the Callus voice? Probably not, because I don't have the full range. Also, Void Cascade isn't normally the mode that I do the relic grinds in. Normally, if I could, I'd use Alchemy. I know it's not everyone's favorite mode, but I tend to prefer it. Oh, that reminds me. I'm starting to understand Corvex. Specifically, I'm starting to understand the meme build that is Crucible Blast literally everything. It is just so brain dead, yet so good. Well, when you do it right. I'm not exactly in a moment where I could do it proper. But I'm starting to understand.
That's it. You open the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
Also, my aim sucks. I gotta do something about this build. I think I'm missing a melee arcane adapter. I'm gonna be honest. Harrow has very quickly become one of my favorites. Reason being, I've struggled with trying to figure out how to use him in like a non-supportive role for like the longest of times. And then I realized, oh wait, Roar exists. So if I just take my already insane Dread and already insane, like, whatever, insert secondary name here, then I could just go nuts. Granted, there seems to be a lull in the ad spawns as of yet, but this build originally was designed to be a Cyto 9 elude build. Is it elude or evade? I don't know. Whatever they call his invis. But, the idea was to keep looping Condemn and to keep looping Cyto 9's invis and pair it with Unseen Dread on Dread, which my Riven role is pretty much a lot of crit chance and damage. I think it's damage. I don't know. It's redundant levels, but it was nuts. Excuse me. It was very good. But it started getting, like, difficult to, like, do. Because on the one hand, like, you're trying to build up damage for Condemn. And then on the other hand, like, you're trying to get headshots and stuff. And if you've got a companion, then, like, enemy attention is diverted, like, non-stop. So headshots become just a little bit more difficult. Even if you're not running the stance that, like, does knockdown all the time. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to supplement, I'm going to supplement them with Roar. Yeah, Harrow is like APM. And my build is still far from complete. There's some bits and bobs that I'm trying to, like, refine. And there are definitely better weapons to be using. Like, you could use the meta, like Incarnate Torrid. You could use, just a whole bunch of other stuff, like some Rune Nuke weapon. But, I don't know. Trying to mix things up aside from using just an absolutely insane Valkyr build with insert meta melee weapon here. Yeah. But it is rare. I'm gonna be honest. I like playing Harrow, but I prefer prefer using him as a solo character rather than a support character. Oh, I got the floating point bug. That's why. Yeah. I prefer to use him solo. Meta is subjective, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. A lot of people will say, oh, use this, use that, you have to use this, you must use that. This is... I don't normally like to pull rank like this, This is a Legendary 3 telling you the meta does not matter. Like, I mean, it does to a degree, but fun should be the meta. If it works, that's even better. But just don't worry about using the best thing. But right now, meta is just anything that trivializes the game and, like, lets you turn off your brain. Like, Incarnate Torrid, for example. Stupidly high damage, easy to get Incarnate Charge, you know, because you don't have to get headshots. You know, things like that. You know, meta frames like, what's his name? Revenant with stupid Mesmer skin. And, you know, just things that clear rooms, Saren. I don't think Uriel is a hard meta, but he's not bad. He's really, really good. Because, like, the meta's a spectrum, too. Like, there's some frames that are really good, but there are other frames that are only good when certain conditions are met. You know, like, for example, Carol right now is working for me because other teammates are not present to steal my kills. Oop, did my tracking just break? No, it's fine.
Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
No, tracking's good. Yeah, no. It's kind of redundant because, again, Harrow's a support frame. He's supposed to buff allies and all of that, and that's very important. But one long-standing issue that a lot of people have when playing Harrow is getting their kills stolen, because a lot of his buffs are stringent on enemies being present. His 1 for the shield regen, or for the shield gain on hit, his 3 for the energy regen. And yeah, Trinity's pretty good, you know. Not only can you prevent literal all kinds of death, well, almost all kinds of death, but you can basically give everyone energy almost constantly, you know? And there's the DR from Link. Is nice. Is really nice. But that's why I say meta is mostly subjective. It also depends on what you have and when you have that thing that's really good, you know? Like, yeah, Incarnate Torrid is really good, but if you don't have the mods for it, or if you don't know how to use it, it's not good, you know? In my case, I'm fortunate that I have a cohesive Dread build. I have a somewhat decent Zylok build. Although the Zylok build, more specifically, is focused on burning down Exodus and then burning down groups when Incarnate's active. It's just all subjective. It's based on what you've got and when you've got it. You know? And also what you're comfortable with. Also with Harrow specifically, what's great is, even though I'm playing him solo, literally my companion is benefiting from everything. And, well, he just died right now, but when he's not dead, when I actually bother meleeing things, he actually, like, he slaps because I bothered putting in all that time to grind conservation mods. See, like, that was 8 million damage on a single Exodus. Granted, it was a Corpus Exodus, but still. Yeah. Yeah, Melon's a little stupid. We're all a little dumb, but Melon's his own special breed of dumb.
Search of treasure, but only found oblivion.
But yeah, meta is subjective. Always remember. A lot of Warframe veterans, I say a lot of people, and a lot of Warframe veterans, but it's true. Many Warframe veterans do forget what it was like, you know, to struggle. And even after they're done with the struggle, a lot of us tend to like minimize the possibility of someone having difficulty using something that's considered good. Like, I only recently bothered to like get an actual turret. Like, I've had the Genesis for a while, but I'm not gonna immediately know what to do. I'm glad you're back in the game. It's, as you could tell, it's changed a lot. I actually was in the same boat at one point. When I first played, I played it on, what was it? I played it back on Xbox One, and then I quit, like, very quickly. My amp needs work. Yeah, I quit very quickly early on for a dumb reason. Reason being, I was not a fan of the Grenier Galleon tile set. And my younger self thought that that was all we were going to be seeing in the game. And I was in a mindset at the time when I was desperate to look for free-to-play games because I was too young to work. I did not have a job, could not get a job, so I couldn't buy any of the good games that my friends were playing at the time. And I was just looking for a good free-to-play game, but the game's art style just looked too weird for me back then. Fast forward to Tube Men of Regor, specifically the tail end of it, and I was like, you know what, I'll give this a try again, because I remember playing it before, and I was unfair to it. And I gave it a try, and it was a slog at first, but then I got hooked. And now, I shower literally everyone I meet with gifts, if I can. I give relics away, I carry people on runs, go through Archon hunts. Some people have asked me, not a lot of people, but some people have asked me what order to do the story in, and I've advised. It was a different time. I didn't have a good enough PC to run this. I was on a laptop then. Back at that point, the extensive games I could play was like MapleStory. And that was the extent of what that laptop could run. I couldn't possibly run Warframe. And even if it could, I don't think I heard about it being on PC at the time. This was back in 2014, I believe it was. Either 2014 or 2015, one of those. I don't know. Whenever Tube Men of Regor was happening. Ah, stupid. Move. These must die. It's on sight. Yeah. I think I didn't get far enough. Like, see, that's a testament to how little of it I actually played when I was on console. Because I didn't get far enough for the controls to actually be confusing to me. Like, I just noped out early on because of the visuals alone. And I remember kicking myself for that, being like, oh god, why did I just quit playing the game for such a petty reason? But now I'm here, and now I've gone as far as I've gone, and I'm happy. There are definitely a lot of things I could do better, but again, progression is, what was the word? Subjective. It differs by person. And I'm not ashamed to say that Warframe is actually my favorite game of all time. Like, I think I decided this back during the second dream. I was like, yep, this is my favorite game of all time. One day I want to build up a huge clan and just house, like, events and stuff, give away platinum and things like that. But first I gotta research everything. That's my one stipulation for why I haven't done so as of yet for like clan builder, is I want to research everything before even thinking about recruitment. Why is it always the Okina handle? I have this. I'll open up one more and then reset. Actually, no, I think it rotated out. Yeah, it had a minute left. Okay, so I'll do one more, and then we'll go to another mission type. Provided I can actually pick up the pace. God, I really don't like that floating point bug on Hero. It's this thing that happens when you're channeling Thurible, and then it just like halts right as it's about to finish. The reason is because it uses a float value to determine how much energy you're getting. So basically it puts a decimal on there, but as a result, it just... sometimes it gets stuck when it's about to reach its maximum value. Because floating point values, or float values, they tend to like slow down the closer you get to what a maximum is supposed to be, because it's a decimal. It's like a math thing. And usually what game developers do is we tend to clamp it to a maximum value. So that way if it's close enough to that value, then we sort of just like say, you know what, it's close enough, just snap it to what the max is supposed to be. But sometimes that just doesn't happen for Hero. Like, let's see if it happens now. Okay, so it doesn't. So like, it did the 49.5 there. Not sure why they're doing a float for Thurible instead of an integer, which is basically a non-decimal number. Or decimal, not decibel. This doesn't sound the design we're talking about. Yeah, it's just annoying because I was channeling it for way longer than I thought I was earlier. So, little things like that. Getting back to the meta though, I wonder how meta Foley's gonna be. Her 2 is insane, but like how useful is it gonna be, you know? Especially after they announced that they were putting limitations on it. We'll see. Oops, went right past it. All I know is that music for the trailer did kind of send chills up my spine. Like, I don't scare easily. And that's not a boast, that's not a, you know... It's not a manly man thing, that's a legit, like... Horror games, the game aspect of it kind of like, for me at least, overwrites the fear aspect for me. But that music was just, like the music box was a little concerning. I think, didn't they say something about some devs being just a little terrified? That's how you know you're doing a good job, though. Boy, let go. I don't know. I think I'm starting to notice, going back to my Hero build vanilla, I think I'm starting to notice one of the problematic aspects of it. Oi, there we go. Yeah, one of the problematic aspects being I legit have no way of self-sustain. Like, at all. Like, I have Oh, there was the bug. I have... What was it? Not Arcane Barrier. I think it's Arcane Barrier. For, like, shield regen. But whenever I have to use Penance, it kind of undoes that. And even when I don't need to use it... Move! I'm trying to kill the other guy! Yeah, whenever I use Penance, it kind of, like, undoes it. The only way I can, like, safely use it is when, when the regen is already kicked in. Alright, so no Ureli Prime, no optics for now. I have more relics, but I'm gonna pick a different mission type.
Tenno, the Void has summoned a new presence and it craves our life support. Destroy this manifestation.
But yeah, that's something I gotta fix. Somehow. Shame Tower on Strike isn't doing anything against this enemy. Why is he... What? He's like teleporting. Okay, this is very annoying. Jeez. Oh boy, all of my energy is gone. I wonder where it has gone. Cease your movement, please. Thank you. Yeah, Conjunction Survival isn't my ideal for doing grinds unless I'm with other people. But even then, it's like... I don't know. I gotta coordinate. Like, I'd rather coordinate this if I'm going to be doing it with others. You know. I know I'm resetting, but I'm going to be, I'm trying to get the reacting at least, so I can get the void traces. Why did I pop this with no enemies actually shooting me? There we go. I will say Condemn is really good for protecting you when you have to use Penance, though, if your duration is long enough. Alright, reactant done. Let's get out of here. At Newark, have to kill the owl one, next to the wolf, last is the snake. Any tips? Yes. So, I'm gonna word this without spoilers. So, you already beat Boreal, yes? As far as the wolf, Amar, goes, he will spawn clones. When he spawns clones, you have to kill the right one. And the right one is the one with his daggers. He has two sets of arms, right? The one that has the Archon head and then the one that's on the Rhino Prime body. The one that's, I think it's the Archon head that is holding the blades, but I could be wrong. One of the sets of arms will be holding the blades out, kind of outward and up. That one is the one to kill to get past that phase. Aside from that, he's just really easy to beat. He will charge at you and deal heavy damage. And then the Snake Naira, she has a frontal shield that she puts up at times. And I think she does a retaliation attack. She also does a dot when she stares at you, occasionally. But they're not like terribly hard fights. Aside from those are in my opinion, the only things to really like keep an eye out for. Aside from that, there's a standard fare of occasionally they will summon enemies, and then you have to beat them to get rid of the invulnerability, and then that's it. Oh, hang on. While we're at that, where is it? Oh. Since you said you're on the new war arc, I'll be doing creator mode. Just so that way it can save you from spoilers, if any would happen to arrive. Yeah, Boreal was kind of tough to figure out, but he wasn't like... I don't know if he was the easiest one. I'm not going to pretend he was the easiest one. Let's swap frames, shall we? Mayhaps Valkyr? Mayhaps Sevagoth? I think we'll do Valkyr. Actually, yeah, we'll do Valkyr because I have a build I want to run for this. A kind of very funny build. So, I have... One of the little doggies is swiping at a pillow. I have in my possession a Jet Kusar with an insane amount of... an insane amount of crit chance and crit damage because of the infinity stones I put on my Valkyr that I will not elaborate on. Yeah, the bow's pretty good, even with Drifter. I think he'll do pretty good, but just keep those things in mind. For the wolf, he has those daggers when he's doing his clones. He will charge at you and sometimes do a leap attack at you. He also has a lot of heat procs, so best be careful about that. Yeah, that's the Valkyr heirloom that everyone loves. I personally prefer the Carnifex skin, but this one is pretty good too. I need to turn my fan back on. I forgot I turned it off. Hold on. I am debating whether or not to do a funny and do the man in the wall filter again, or do the funny springy noise, because I have the jaw harp and it's just sitting there and it's very tempting to do. Actually, do I still have any of the filters on? No? Good. Alright, what do we have? We have a choice between Alchemy and Void Flood. Both are equally enjoyed by myself. Ooh, actually, we'll swap Melon to Status. The Man in the Wall. Not from that quest specifically, but you said you were on New War, so you've played through the second dream. So I can't do the other one, but no. I'm talking specifically about the Man in the Wall voice from post second dream, from when you make the choice with the Kuva. I have that filter. I was trying to refine it because there was dialogue from a later quest that I was actually able to do and like voice properly. And it really helped in actually developing this filter. Hang on, let me see. We'll do a funny.
Hey kiddo, what took you so long?
kiddo, don't forget, you owe me. You know, a voice like that. Yeah, that voice. Wait. I can do another funny. Hey kiddo, you ever hear the latest meme? 6-7? Everyone's saying it. Why aren't you? Part of me wants to do a voice reel of just doing different voice clips with that filter on. But just different woes that a lot of Warframe players deal with. How's it going, kiddo? Trying to grind those Grendel parts? Shame you can't equip any mods. I see you have a Kuvalich active, kiddo. Sure you don't want to kill them now? Don't you know they're going to take the ribbon from you next time you do a sortie? You can only put it off for so long. There's another filter, an even better filter that I have that I cannot do right now because it'll be a spoiler for you, so I won't do that one. But I do have a filter that is a work in progress for Emperor Callus from Destiny 2. The only reason that one's not perfect is because I'm trying to get the low ranges down because my voice is naturally high. Well, I say high, it's kinda high. You know, it fluctuates. Hang on, let me see. Actually, I need to turn my fan off because I think the noise gate's gonna pick it up. Hold on a moment. There we go. Alright, let's see.
Well, if it isn't my favorite little guardian, to what do I owe the pleasure? Welcome to the Leviathan. As you can see, it's a bit overrun with fungus, but I know you'll get the job done. So, let's make a deal. I've come back from the dead. You've killed a witness. I'll put you at the helm if you clean up the dregs that clean up. Clean up? Wait, no.
I'm trying to figure out what he would say. Hold on. Wait.
If it isn't the Shadow of Earth, welcome back to the Leviathan.
It's not great. I'm still trying to do his voice properly. Alright, how much time was left on the Void Flood? Okay. Alrighty, so let's see. We will do this mission here. What do we got? Caliban again? Or Caliban this time because I diverted my attention to Ureli even though it didn't work? I have a lot of stuff that has Caliban in it. Jeez. What else do I need? I think I need his main blueprint. Okay. And this also has a forma, so we will do that. Wait, I need to make sure I'm on the right build because I always forget. We'll do this. And then we'll do that. Okay. And which one was it again? It wasn't this one. It was this one. All right, let's go. Hit the yoinky sploinky and then skedaddle. That was the almost the most perfect boing I was able to get from this thing all night. That's so funny. Do I have any filters still on? No? Good. Alright. Alright. We go. Oh, you know what I really want to do though, with the Man in the Wall voice? I want to do the Revolver Ocelot Big Chungus copy pasta. Have you heard of Big Chungus? How a meme could be greater than Bugs Bunny himself. Bugs Bunny. I don't remember exactly how it goes. In mere seconds, his claim to fame grew higher than Bugs Bunny himself. Or something along those lines. I don't know. See, this is why I prefer alchemy. Reacting first objective literally whenever. Yeah, I need to put together a new demo reel. My old one's like out of date. Hold still! I know it's redundant to melee, but I don't care. And he's gone. That's fine. Alright, I'm lost now. Whoops. Oh, speaking of voice stuff, now I have a perfect excuse to talk about something from my past. Being acting. Nothing highfalutin, nothing like that. But I was, if you could believe it, a TV actor at one point. Only ever once. Like literally. I was on the pilot for a show. It was called... Wait, can I say? I mean, I think the... Yeah, the NDA is done by now. I use air quotes when I say I was a TV actor. I'm not, like, actively chasing roles, but I had to turn one down because of the pandemic at the time. But I was on TV once. It was very brief, and... You could see me if you looked hard enough. I think I still haven't actually seen the episode I was in. It was for a show called DMZ. It was for a pilot episode specifically. It was an HBO series. I never actually saw the episode, but it did air the pilot. Now here's what's funny, and here's the reason why I bring it up. On IMDb, there are a lot of uncredited actors and extras on there because a lot of extras are desperate to get their name out there, and as such, if they can, put themselves or ask permission to be put on IMDb. I am not on that list because I mainly didn't care at the time, and I honestly don't really care now. But the reason I bring it up is because DMZ... Wait, why am I going this way? DMZ is a story that's set in the DC universe. Yes, as in DC Comics. Which means, by some weird, obscure connection, I am technically canon in the DC universe somewhere. And so, I'm taking that and I'm running with it whenever I can. Yeah. The premise is, I think there's like a nurse or it's a healthcare worker of some kind who's trying to do something, like make it in some way. I don't know, I don't know the story behind this show. Yeah, apparently it's set in the DC universe. There are no superheroes in it, at least to my knowledge there aren't. But, my character was a guy who was just leaning against a door waiting for his friend to be done with his treatment. At least that's the narrative they gave me as an extra. I need to find out how I could watch it. I think I'm gonna have to find a way to get HBO. And by find a way, I mean just buy the service, at least for a bit, so I can see where I was in this. It was only ever one spot, though. They did the whole makeup thing and everything, because everyone was, like, downtrodden and all that. I think it's post-apocalyptic, I'm not sure. But they did everyone's faces up to look gaunt and filthy and stuff. It's actually kind of cool, especially since the whole thing took place in an abandoned theater. Like an actual abandoned theater. We were all waiting in an atrium with like seats and everything, and a stage. The stage is where they were doing everyone's makeup. Did they pay a sum? Pay a good sum of money? Yes. So, acting being a contract thing for like extras, you know, it's usually around the equivalent. I'm saying equivalent to account for all regional currencies. I don't like to stick with one in particular, but it's the equivalent of anywhere from, like, it's based on your time, and if runtime goes over, or past the time that you were supposed to be there, they pay you extra. It's the equivalent of overtime. But what I did for this and the other stuff that I did, it was the equivalent of anywhere between a minimum of $80 US to a max of maybe 110. But they have, what they do, since it's a contract thing, I have not been paying attention to this. What they do, since it's a contract thing, they have a baseline that they set as part of the temp contract, and then they have an hourly, which is usually like anywhere minimum 15, or not minimum 15, more like a maximum, I think it's 15 to 20. Yeah, more or less. And that's for like a day of just being there, doing your thing, and then skedaddling. But like they have a bus and shuttle schedule usually, so they're not gonna just like send you on your way when you're done with your part. You still have to wait with the other extras until shooting is done for the day. So you're gonna be there like basically for as long as they say they're planning to be there. So yeah, they're gonna compensate you for your time. The 80 is not per hour, it's base. And that's just an estimate. They can raise or lower it, but the listings I've seen were usually minimum 70, 80. But it's anywhere between like at least 10 an hour after the after the agreed duration. Like I'm explaining this poorly. Look at it this way. They plan to do shooting for like a couple hours. You're there, like you're just there for that whole couple of hours, but you're only getting paid that minimum for that couple of hours, being in this case the 80. But if they go beyond that couple of hours, like let's say you were supposed to be there for 3 or 4 hours, and then they go for 5. Every hour beyond that, you get paid an extra like 10 or 15. In my case, it was 15. And I ended up with, I think, 120 for the DMZ thing, because when I was there, they went over a bit. But for the other stuff I did, which I only ever did one other show, which was a game show, that I still can't say which specific game show it was because it was under NDA and I wouldn't be noticeable anyway because I was part of a crowd of paid actors. We were told to root for contestants on this game show. Some of us were even told to pretend to be that contestant's family. But that one was on a pretty good schedule. Yeah. Now, there's some other really cool stuff that happened when I actually went there. So, when I did this, and I don't like talking about like where I'm from or where I'm based in, but you can't talk about acting like where you did the acting or like what you did without saying like where you were at the time. So at the time for me, I was based out in Georgia, which is a state in the US, for those who don't know. And it's considered a hub for acting. At least to my knowledge it is. Most of the acting jobs you would see for this country are there. And that's where both of those things I was in were. I wasn't there for long, but when I was, I figured, you know what, I may as well try acting. I'm on the hunt for a job at the time, may as well, right? So I did that, and it was pretty cool. And doing acting stuff in that place exposes you to a lot of the things that highbrow actors have done at one point. And the reason I bring that up in particular is because I had 3 actually, now that I remember, 3 instances where I was doing something that an A-lister was involved in at one point. The first one being my second bus ride. So, extras ride shuttles or buses to the location. They park nearby in parking garages, or we take an Uber, or we we either drive, take an Uber, or just walk if we're close enough. I took an Uber because couldn't be bothered to do literally anything else. And also because I can't drive. Because I don't have a car. Took an Uber there. And then I took a bus on location. And the second time I took a bus, there weren't very many people. It was early in the morning, I think. And the bus driver noticed I was nervous. Yeah. Unfortunately, no, I don't have a car. I'm not in a position where I can have one. That's the reason, is I'm not in a position where I can have one. Because I haven't bothered to get one as of yet. There's priorities. I can if I want to, but I'm sorry, that sounded like a lie. It sounded like I could totally have a car if I want to. Oh, I don't have a gun now because I just haven't bothered. Totally. No, we don't have garage space for another car right now. That's why. That's so funny. No, that's the reason why. We just don't have the garage space. So I haven't bothered as a result. I'm gonna change that soon. This year, I'm gonna see if I can... I don't know why I did that. I'm gonna try to do that. But no, I took an Uber, and it was actually pretty cool because some of the Uber drivers are talkative. So they're like, oh, where are you going? What are you doing? And so I'm like, I got the big nose, and I'm like, let me tell you where I'm going. And then they're like, oh, you're going to do this acting thing. What are you playing in? And I'm like, oh, I can't tell you. I'm under NDA, you see. And they're like, I understand. Because it's a thing that actually happens. You can't just willy-nilly tell someone what you're doing when your contract is still up. You know? So it made me feel like a better person than I was. It was funny. So I get to the bus, and mind you, this was on the second go-around for like a gig. This is for that game show. And the bus driver notices how nervous I am when I get there because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just finding my seat. And then she offers me to sit like on the front seat, like next to her. Because it was one of those tour buses that has one of the spacious like cabin areas. And she proceeds to tell me, she proceeds to ask me what I was going to be doing. And so I tell her, oh, I'm just going to be on a game show, can't go into specifics, but that's what I'm going to be doing. And then she's like, that's pretty cool. By the way, you know Tom Cruise once sat in the seat you're sitting in. And I'm just sitting there like, what? And she's like, yeah, he sat in that very same seat. And this was when he was early on, like in his early acting days, before he became famous. And I'm like, no way. And in my mind, I'm like, you're lying. You're telling me something fantastic so that I'm not as nervous. Like, that's what I was thinking, but I didn't say that out loud. I just lived in the moment because either way, that was still an interesting exchange regardless. And she was like, yeah, he sat in that spot in one of his earliest acting gigs. Before he like really blew up, and apparently his claim to fame, and I could be wrong about this because I'm going by what she told me, yeah, I can understand. Trying to get into game development myself, yeah, the NDAs are cumbersome, and it kind of puts a damper on enthusiasm to talk about it because, oh, well, how about, oh, well, wait, I can't talk about that, whoopsie. But yeah, she said, yeah, it's very, just, it puts a damper on it for me. But, you live with it eventually, because then when the thing comes out, and it's like, yep, I was there. But yeah, she was like, yeah, he sat in that same spot, just same seat as you, most likely in the same situation as you at some point. And then she says that his claim to fame was that he was a stand-in for another A-lister who got injured on set. And he took his place, like, as the actor for that specific scene, and apparently he was so good that they were like, yeah, you're in the new lead now. Like, you're the new, starring role. And apparently that's what blew him up, as far as his fame goes. And again, I could be getting some details wrong. It could be Tom Cruise, it could be another actor, I don't know. All I know is I was too excited from hearing this story to like really let it sink in. It was only until after I got off the bus that it sank in. Yeah, that's that's a thing that can happen rarely, but not like frequently. Yeah, it's a non-zero chance from my perspective. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a fairy tale, but I mean, you're hearing it from one such sort, so you know, there's some credibility. If not from like the fact that it happened, then at least from the fact that someone told me it happened. And again, I'm not 100% certain that this is what happened, but she went out of her way to tell me this. She said that she drove him as well when she was like way younger. Oy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to believe it 100% because it does sound a little ridiculous. But I mean, these things, I guess they can happen. So that was instance 1. There were 3 instances where it was close. I said it earlier, there were 3 instances where it was close to something an A-lister did. The second, it's relevant to the game show. So, this game show, again, I don't know if I can say what game show it was. All I can say is it was run by a current A-list movie actor that appears in a lot of things to an almost nauseating degree. Like, not that he's bad or anything, or a bad actor. Can I say? I don't want to risk it, but on the other hand, I'm uncredited. I'm just not going to risk it. No. It was from an A-list actor. There's a game show. And I've seen this A-list actor. And he looks a lot different in person than on the big screen, which is a common thing you would hear. Some people would say the cheesy line of, I thought you were taller, or you look so much more different in person, so on and so forth. But I didn't see him up close up until like one of the later times I showed up, because I was there for like 3 different occasions, I think. And the first time I saw him, he was down in the arena for this game show. Arena? No, it was more like a stage. I don't know why I call it an arena. It was a stage that he was on, and he was reviewing props and set pieces and whatnot. And the paid actors that were next to me in the stands were fangirling. Like, they were both women, and they were both fangirling, to the point where one of them was fanning herself with her hands, like, really fast, and I genuinely thought she was gonna have a stroke. If I didn't know that she was, like, just glad to see him for the first time in her life, then, I'd ask her if she was okay, but she was okay. She was fine. She was alright. My thing is, I thought it was an overreaction. There were a lot of people who were acting very normal about it, but these two, especially the one to my right, was just like losing it. And I was just like, well, I guess this is what it's gonna be. So yeah. And then I saw him again on the last day I showed up during lunch. And he walked by, and again, someone who was sitting next to me during the lunch, during like the 15 minutes lunch, was fangirling again. And then she's like, hi, such and such. And then other people nearby were waving out of respect. Wow, that's a lot of red clicks, I'm sorry. Anyway, a lot of people were waving out of respect. So I just like did a normal person wave. And then he did that thing that a lot of like nonchalant men do. The whole like upward head tilt of like, what's up? You know, he didn't say anything, but he did the head tilt and then pointed in our general direction. And that sent them like reeling. It sent them like reeling off, careening into space. They were on such an emotional high, I'm fairly certain. It's like when you meet someone you idolize, the tone shifts to like reverence, which is understandable. But like seeing it up close is just, hey, there we go. Seeing it up close is just such a bizarre thing. I don't know about you, but to me it's like a little unnerving. But I mean, I can't blame them. You know, they're meeting a movie star. We're going for a reset. Yep. Finally managed to get it. I have so many Caliban parts you wouldn't believe. Or not parts, relics. So, that was the second instance. The third one was less from like a meet and greet perspective, or a like involvement like from a doing the same thing standpoint, and more from another employment perspective, because I was going to be like, the last thing I was going to do for acting was it a movie? Yeah, it was a movie. And I can talk about this because I never signed a contract, so I never got to do the thing. What was the movie? Alright, reacting's done, we can skedaddle. I don't remember what the movie's name was. Shoot. But the reason why it's pertinent in this discussion is because this was a movie that was being directed by Sylvester Stallone. It was a zombie movie that... I think it was a zombie movie. Was it a zombie movie or a post-apocalyptic movie? It was one of those, but it also had superheroes in it. And the premise of the movie, to the best of my knowledge, was life after like some kind of big disaster without superheroes. Like, superheroes were a thing, but they weren't like exactly everywhere, you know. And so my role on the movie was supposed to be just, again, it was an extra. I was supposed to be a guy riding a bus talking to someone else. And when you do acting jobs, you gotta send in reference images of yourself. We call them headshots. As well as some other like images of poses of you and like what you look like currently. And they had my headshots still. And they took a look and they were like, you know what? We're gonna get into contact with them again. They had to stop production of this movie. I think it was a movie. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of details fuzzy. I'm sorry. It was either a movie or a series. It was one of those. Either way, it was put on hold because of the pandemic. And when the pandemic started slowing down and people started actually figuring out how to do COVID tests and screening for all of that, they got into contact with me after I moved out of Georgia, away from that place in general. And they were like, hey, we're ramping up production again. Like, they called me. They were like, hey, we're ramping up the production again. We're getting in contact with people who were on our roster. And we saw your images that you sent. We like what we've seen. You want to work on this again? And I still need the systems. And I was like, oh, well, I can't. I said I couldn't. Sorry, I can no longer do so. I have concerns over pandemic woes. Like, I don't know why I said that my biggest concern was the pandemic, which it is a big concern, and in my opinion, it's valid to be, just concerned about a sweeping health concern across the entire world. But for some reason, I didn't say, like the more immediate concern for me, at least, being I moved out. But no. I sat there and said, oh, well, I have pandemic woes. Not thinking about the fact that they may have accounted for that. And they did account for that. And they were like, oh, you don't have to worry. We have a lot of, we have a lot of facilities in place to keep you protected, to just in general make it so that way you don't have to worry. We have mask policies, we have distancing policies, we have all of that, the 9 yards. And then they didn't say this exactly, but they were like, they basically had it they had this tone of like, I'm saying like a lot, jeez. They had this tone of, so we've debunked the pandemic reason for why you're not showing up. Why else are you not showing up? And I was nervous because I was like, okay, well, if the fact that, yeah, I can imagine it would be especially rough in those regions. Ooh, yeah, it was unfortunately very bad. They were like, so can you still, we have masking policies, we have all of that. Can you still show up? And I was like, oh, well, I also moved out of Georgia, and I am incapable of traveling back to Georgia in time for the shoot. And they were like, oh, understandable. Would you be open for additional role considerations in the future? I'm like, yes. Even though I wasn't, because I couldn't go there. So could probably, okay, I'm gonna replace prime redirection. I don't know why I had that on, and since I had the wherewithal to put an Omniforma on, I will replace it with something. Mayhaps I can do, wait, no, I'm running Archon Intensify. Okay. Yeah. So it was going to be a Stallone movie. Yeah, I could have been more active. But, times change. Range is what I need. That's the thing. Maybe range. I guess I'll do range. Meh. This'll work. And what was I saying? Yeah, it was a Stallone movie. I was gonna do it, and then I was asked to do it afterward when I decided I was not gonna do that. So then I didn't do that. So that was my time with acting. By technicality, I am an actor. Just like by technicality, I am a game developer. Jeez. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into how many accolades can I rapid fire in one stream. What else should I put on here? I actually, hold on. I can do something. No, I'll do that another stream. I don't want to show off. So I'm working on a platformer right now, and I've been dealing with an issue that's been plaguing me for the past 3 days for camera transitions. It's a 3D platformer, not over the shoulder, but I was trying to do camera angles to just like move it to a side-scrolling view or an isometric view or a fixed camera view or any other camera view for like cutscenes or whatever that would be pertinent in whatever level that has them. And I was having trouble with getting the camera to smoothly interpolate between where it was and where it should have been, like where I specified it. It was teleporting, and I couldn't have figured it out until I realized, what if I turn an additive value into a subtractive value? And that one thing that I didn't even consider because mathematically it shouldn't make sense for the transition process happened to be the one weird trick that fixed everything. I was going to show it off here, but I don't have the game capture for this latest compiled build setup. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't ever thought about using these services for help with programming, but Visual Studio is starting to learn from my habits, like from my programming habits. It's helping with the tedious stuff, like specifying like just values that exist in other scripts that I need to specify, but I wouldn't trust it with anything as far as like movement goes. Because I've heard so many people in the sphere say that it's regularly messing up. But I don't know. I don't have a first-hand account on that regard. What was I doing again? Caliban what? Systems, I think? Caliban Systems, Ureli Neuroptics Systems, Lavos Neuroptics. Okay. We go for Lavo Prime. Not Lavo. We go for Caliban. And then we'll finish out the stream afterward. Oh dear. Well, this is a rather unfortunate turn of events. The fun modes are gone. I do not want to do Void Cascade on Steel Path. Well, guess we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Caliban Systems. Ladies and gentlemen of the church, we are going for Caliban Systems. Please put your hands together for whatever this is. Caliban Systems is what? Is it a common? Hold on. No! Are you kidding me? I don't have any relics for him. Ah, no. I refuse. I refuse to be knocked down by this arbitrary relic system.
May this help your journey.
Let's see. It's not looking good. No! Well, I guess we have to go here now.
Fascinating choice.
Come on. Chassis, I need systems. Let's go gambling. Oh, dang it. Oh well. Looks like Caliban has been Calibanned. Oh well, I guess we'll go for Lavos instead. Nah. Okay. Well. Time for... Actually, wait. What do I need? You need the Lavos Neuroptics. Level Prime. And there's that. There's another one that we could do. I'll pick this one because this one has Forma. And wait a minute. No, I don't. I forgot the little symbol. I was like, wait a minute. Do I have one after all? Oh, I forgot. We go Lavos. I'm running out of void traces, but it's okay. Zylok is funny, but you know what's even funnier? Furious and Carnon. We'll do the funny. Alright. Actually, wait. Should I swap out range on Harrow for health? Methinks I should. Because it's not like I'm hurting for range or anything. Is health even valid on him? What about duration? I could do duration. You know what? I'm doing duration. I think I'll do that. Yeah. Might make Lasting Covenant a moot point. Probably. And then... I think... we're good. Alright. We are on regular. We have conjunctions. Fine, fine, I'll play your silly game. But we'll swap weapons first. So many choices, so little time. That's a lie, I have all the time in the world. I think I'll use Sibir. Sibir. Alright, gotta take a big swig of coffee. Mayhaps a second one shall suffice. Tasty. Okay. And then it was this one? No. Yes, it was. Okay. Coffee's already hitting. Alright. Holy Jawharp, I beg of thee, give me thine Lavos Prime Neuroptics blueprints. Do this, and I shall never ask for you for a thing again. So saith I. Wait. I messed up the noise. Is that a sign of bad luck? Ah! This thing is made of metal. It hurts the teeth. I'm sorry. Wait. Prey upon the perfect boing sound. Wait. There we go. That was perfect. By the power of the perfect boing sound and the power of my ceaseless cringe, we shall prevail. Or something to that effect. I don't know. Welcome to the Uvarium. We will die here.
When the Void Conjunction reached its peak, terrible things happened. If you are willing, we can uncover what was lost to the past. The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place.
I'm in.
Stand by for life support.
Let me in. I will say, Conjunction Survival does have a saving grace for me in that the random Dax walking around helps with power strength. Look at all that energy. Would you look at all that
All
stuff?
manner of Orican technology may work here due to the Circulus's proximity. If you have a necromech, you may use it.
Later, loser. These guys are not going to give me enough damage to charge it enough. And then Melon keeps killing them, so it's not like... Yeah. It's fine. You know, I'm so sad. I was going to use that 2-for-1 platinum thing that they had, but I forgot. I forgot to use it. And the only discount I've had since was a 20%.
Well done, Tenno. Your relic is opened.
I think this increased duration might actually be the thing I needed. I don't know. Still doesn't take away the problems I had before with Arcane Barrier, or whatever it was called, being the one thing that's keeping me alive. Aside from my cat. There we go. Who'd have thought that such a weak starter weapon would become one of my mainstays? But then again, unexpected things happen all the time. I mean, when Rivens first came out, the first good one I got was for Ether Reaper. That makes it even more endgame viable than previously. Even before Melee 3.0. I think that's what it was called, is Melee 3.0. This increased duration is nice, but it's made it so that way there isn't an ability I'm like actively pressing for an extended period of time. It's not a bad problem to have, but it makes gunplay like the main thing. Alright, my prayer to the boing noise has been heard. Please respond with a good drop. Give me Lavos new optics, or at the very least a Forma. I literally asked for neither of those. I need to turn my fan on. Hold on.
Signatures.
I keep turning it off to do funny voice stuff, but then I need to turn it back on because I'm burning.
Eliminate them quickly.
Ugh. That sure is one invincible cat. Maybe I should have put on Prime Sure-Footed. I don't know. I tend to do Power Drift more because I don't really feel like I need Prime Sure-Footed. And 30% is like, it may be low, but it's better than nothing as far as like knockdown resist.
The relic has been cracked open.
I don't know. This goes back to one of those meta things from before. Prime Sure-Footed, a lot of people claim is meta. Not like mandatory, but like meta for just general quality of life, but you really don't need it. You can just compensate for hard knockdowns with gameplay. Like, just, if you see an Arson X and it's about to like wreck you, just jump away. Or roll, you could roll through it. You know, same goes with laser barriers. Of course you risk setting alarms off, but, you know, there are things you could do. My god. There are so many cats! I do need to keep popping abilities, though, to help my companion duplicate himself. I think the companion rework they did was super good. I wish the spawn rate would increase. I am not falling down the hole again. Hit me! Hit me! You're not hitting me hard enough. God, just having a companion that can actually, like, if I don't kill steal him, that can just reliably fight. I mean, granted, these are low-level enemies, but the companion mods do work way better than... I don't know. I'm having difficulty wording it. The companion mods that exist now are way better than the previous companion builds we've been having. That is just support-based stuff, like loot drops or slight critical rate increases in the case of this cat specifically. You know, we've got legit actual, like, damage mods now. Okay, I know I said I was okay with getting a Forma, but doesn't mean I actually want it, like, more than what I was going for. Please.
These manifestations must not be allowed a foothold on Lua.
I'm begging.
Destroy them.
I normally don't beg for my life. Unless it was Marathon recently. But that was a very short time. Nullifier. I just want an aura mod for frames that just automatically, like, shrivel up any nullifier bubbles nearby. Like an AoE nullifier torsion or something. I don't know. I'm not good with the innuendo jokes. I'm not good with those things. Did you know that 1 in every 10 Uriel main gets torsion in their energy orbs? For that, there is only one solution. Let us introduce Gulfagor, who latches onto people's faces and drops their orbs for you. Now you don't have to worry about being shriveled up ever again. Cast your abilities to your heart's content. All it requires is your flying demon bat friend to eat some faces. A small sacrifice, and it's entertaining to watch. Play Uriel. Get Gulfagor today.
Finish your mission and take a look inside.
Tired of your favorite frame no longer being viable in solo steel path? Want to be able to solo everything you can without any regard for balancing? Then you should subsume Nourish. It may not have its self-heal, and its maximum strength may be diminished somewhat, at least I think that's the effect. But you will have energy for days, especially if you have any energy-generating abilities. Use Nourish today, subsume your Grendel, and if you haven't, why not? We could just make, like, all kinds of ads for, like, common Warframe problems. Tired of failing to keep up with other players in your Elite Sanctuary Onslaught grind sessions? Want to be the frontrunner in kills per second? Then you need Explosive Ledger Grenade, exclusive to Mirage. Detonate everything in sight and watch as your friends and squad mates alike stare in awe as they don't get a single kill. But don't worry, shared affinity makes up for their inaction. Ah, that's so funny. Explosive legendary is here. But I was gonna do a terms and conditions thing, but I can't talk fast enough without like a prepared script. Explosive legerdemain is not responsible for any sudden blindness incurred by player color choice. Fashion accordingly. What else? There are so many others we could do. Tired of one-shotting everything on a day-to-day basis in Warframe? Looking for a challenge that'll test your reflexes, your sharp wit, and your weapon potency? Well, you need the Grendel Part missions. Those have no mods equipped, so joining in is as simple as getting the piece, going in, and then dying repeatedly because you aren't allowed to use any mods on anything. Relish in the opportunity to fail over and over again because you're not allowed to build craft.
It's as if the void wants to.
Farm Grendel today, and then subsume him for nourish. You know, I still have an Icefields of Rita node that I have yet to do, that I don't need to do, but I have yet to do, because it sucks. I did the grind once before for Grendel, before the Prime came out, and it was, like, it was misery. It was just so bad. Oh, there's the floating point bug again. I think I'll do one more of this. Like, this will be the last one I can do actually right now before I have to go. Because it is starting to get a bit late over here. So I'm hoping, and I am praying to the Oranger gods, whatever they may be, praying to the silly boing noise that I can make using the fancy jawhead. Praying that I get my lovely neuroptics. I don't play Lavos very often. The few times I do, he's like super fun. There's just something about a well-designed frame that like hits very different. I said it earlier, but I really want to play fully though. I want to do like all the little drawings for the sketchbook. This is gonna be great. They said something about, like, I know they have an internal, like, mix and match shapes to make the images thing, but they hinted at being able to import art. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing they're actually going to do or not. Because if it is, then, whew, let me tell you, I'm going to have to dust off the tablet for that one. I'm not much of an artist, but I've made logos before with vector art. So it shouldn't be too hard for me. Just been hammering away at everything, huh? Figuratively and literally. Ugh. now the spawns are dipping down. Oh, that reminds me, that quality of life for survival stuff, where you could speed up the mission timer, that's gonna be really nice, but I wonder if they're gonna extend it to this specifically. I don't think they will, but it would be nice. Yeah, I think it would be very nice. Now what would be even nicer is if there was an arcane or something that can swap out, or not swap out, but like turn all of your shields into extra health and give like a portion of that up to a percentage as armor. And basically turn shield frames into tank frames. If you want to do that. I mean, it might be overpowered with certain setups, like... What is that arcane that gives you... attenuation? I don't remember the name of it, but there's one that does that. It'd be kind of nuts when paired with that. God, Melon's just like... I'm hearing Overguard like just pop over and over. And again, these... My god, they're eating them alive. Like, yeah, these are weak enemies, but like, look at this, the cats are just like eating everything. That's so funny. Ooh, I got an Axie relic. Alright, that's the last relic for tonight. We're gonna collect the remaining reactants, and then we will skedaddle. No! It's fine. I'll get this another time. So as before, even though we're doing the relic, get the 10, we'll still get some void traces. How long does Condemn last for? I haven't even paid attention. Or Covenant? Of course, you go invincible right as I start shooting. Come on, drop the thing, I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave. I want to get out of here so I can cool down. Turn the fan up and eat a DiGiorno pizza. It's 8. That's 9. No, that's not 9. That's 9. I don't know why I thought we got the 9. You can tell my gameplay's a bit changed when I'm in a rush. There we go. We got the last one. We're out of here. Wait. I can't wait for the new Clamber as well. That's gonna be really nice. God, there's just so much good stuff always coming to this game. I love it. Whoa, 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 whoa. do not the fancy sculpture, please and thank you. Some more fodder for the flame. Okay.
Another job well executed.
What is this? Whatever. So we didn't get all the Caliban parts, but that is okay, because we made progress. And, as I always say, with some rare exceptions, something is better than nothing. Alright. Suppose now we will, wind down. Alright. With that, let me just press some fancy buttons here. Okay, with that, I want to say thank you again very much for coming around to the stream. Tomorrow, I am going to be a bit busy with little doggy's vet appointment in the morning, but depending on when that finishes and when I get back home, will determine whether or not I stream tomorrow. But if I do stream tomorrow, tomorrow's going to be Marathon, because Marathon launches. And my mindset on it went from a negative to an overwhelming, like, just excitement. Weirdly enough, even though I'm not a fan of extraction shooters. So, I'm excited for that. Otherwise, thank you again very much, and I will see you another time. Have a good day. Can't make the noise without it clanging against my face. Hold on, I'll do it one more time. Ah, this is annoying. Hold on. I'll get better at this. Okay, I'll do one more thing. Let's see if I could do the boyoyoing noise. You know the one. Hold on. Wait. Wait. That's funny. Good night, everybody. See you in the next one.